We all have goals, a vision of a slimmer, healthier self, a dream of building a successful business, a desire to learn a new language or master a musical instrument. We start with tremendous enthusiasm, fueled by the inspiring image of our future achievement. Yet so often, that initial burst of energy fades. The gym membership goes unused. The business plan gathers digital dust. The language app sends us increasingly forlorn notifications. We blame a lack of willpower. We decide we are not motivated enough. We tell ourselves we simply do not have what it takes. But what if you are not the problem? What if the problem is your system? This is the revolutionary premise of James Clear's Atomic Habits. This book argues that massive success does not come from massive actions, but from the compound effect of hundreds of small, daily choices. It is not about setting grand goals, but about building systems of tiny, incremental improvements that lead to remarkable results over time. This is the power of getting 1% better every day. The fundamental truth at the heart of this philosophy is the power of compounding. We understand compounding in finance. Small, consistent investments grow into vast sums over time, but we fail to appreciate that the same mathematical law governs our habits. A 1% improvement seems insignificant today. It is invisible. You will not feel stronger after one push-up. You will not feel smarter after reading one page. You will not feel richer after saving $1. But if you can manage a 1% improvement each day for a year, you will end up 37 times better by the time you are done. Conversely, a 1% decline each day will compound into a near total collapse. The same small choices that seem to make no difference today will determine your results in the long run. The enemy of progress is not failure, but boredom. We get tired of doing the same small thing without seeing an immediate dramatic result. We stop running because we are not instantly faster. We stop practicing the guitar because we are not instantly a rock star. We fail to see that the critical battle is won not in a single heroic effort, but in the countless mundane moments where you choose the good habit over the bad one again and again. So how do we design our lives to win those small battles? James Clear presents a 4-step framework for building good habits and breaking bad ones. These steps are simple, but their application is profound. They are: make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, and make it satisfying. The first step to changing your habits is to become aware of them. You cannot change something you are not conscious of. Clear suggests a powerful but simple exercise called the Habit Scorecard. You make a list of your daily habits. Then you simply write down next to each one whether it is a good habit, a bad habit, or a neutral habit. The goal is not to judge, but to observe. You are bringing your automatic behaviors into the light of your consciousness. Once you are aware, you can begin to design your environment to make good habits obvious. Your environment is the invisible hand that shapes your behavior. If you walk into your living room and the remote control is sitting on the couch next to a bag of chips, you are likely to watch television and eat junk food. That habit is obvious. If you want to read more, place a book on your pillow each morning. If you want to practice guitar, leave the guitar stand in the middle of the living room. This is habit stacking, one of the book's most powerful concepts. You take a new habit you want to build and stack it on top of a current habit. The formula is simple. After I current habit, I will new habit. For example, after I pour my morning coffee, I will meditate for 1 minute. After I sit down to dinner, I will say one thing I am grateful for. By tying your new habit to a trigger that is already built into your life, you make it obvious and easy to start. The second law is to make it attractive. The more attractive an opportunity is, the more likely it is to become habit forming. This is where we can use a concept called temptation bundling. You bundle something you want to do with something you need to do. For example, I can only listen to my favorite podcast while I'm at the gym. I can only get a pedicure while I am catching up on my expense reports. This makes the habit you need to do more attractive by linking it to an immediate pleasure. The anticipation of the reward releases dopamine in your brain, which is the neurotransmitter associated with motivation and desire. You are not just relying on willpower, you are making the habit itself craveable. Furthermore, our social groups have a powerful influence on what we find attractive. We tend to adopt the habits of the people around us. If you are surrounded by people who smoke, you are more likely to smoke. If you are surrounded by people who are fit, you are more likely to work out. One of the most effective things you can do is to join a culture where your desired behavior is the normal behavior. You are not just learning a new habit, you are adopting a new identity. The third law, and perhaps the most important, is to make it easy. The central idea here is the 2-minute rule. When you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do. The goal is not to run a marathon. The goal is to put on your running shoes. The goal is not to read a book. The goal is to read 1 page. The goal is not to master the guitar. The goal is to practice for 2 minutes. You are trying to establish the habit, not perfect the performance. A habit must be established before it can be improved. The 2-minute rule is a gateway habit. It makes your habits easy to start. It acknowledges that all big things come from small beginnings. You are lowering the barrier to entry so that even on your busiest, most tired days, you can still do it. And once you have started, it is often easier to continue. The opposite is also true for breaking bad habits. You must make them difficult. Unplug the television after you use it and put the remote in another room. Uninstall social media apps from your phone. This adds friction, making the bad habit harder to perform. The fourth and final law is to make it satisfying. We are more likely to repeat a behavior when the experience is satisfying. What is immediately rewarded is repeated. What is immediately punished is avoided. The problem with many good habits is that their rewards are delayed. The cost of exercise is immediate, soreness and fatigue. The reward, being fit, is delayed. The cost of saving money is immediate. You cannot buy what you want. The reward, financial freedom, is delayed. The cost of eating junk food is delayed, weight gain and poor health. The reward is immediate, pleasure. To build good habits, you need to add a little bit of immediate pleasure. To break bad habits, you need to add a little bit of immediate pain. This is where a habit tracker can be incredibly powerful. Simply marking an X on a calendar each day you complete your habit is satisfying. It provides visual proof of your progress. You create a chain of success, and you will not want to break it. This feeling of making progress is a form of immediate satisfaction that can keep you motivated even when the ultimate reward is far away. Underpinning these 4 laws is a deeper, more profound shift. The shift from outcome-based goals to identity-based habits. The ultimate form of intrinsic motivation is when a habit becomes part of your identity. The goal is not to run a marathon. The goal is to become a runner. The goal is not to play a song on the guitar. The goal is to become a musician. The goal is not to write a book. The goal is to become a writer. Every time you write a page, you are acting like a writer. You are casting a vote for that new identity. Your habits are how you embody your identity. When your behavior and your identity are fully aligned, you are no longer pursuing a behavior for the outcome. You are simply acting in a way that is consistent with who you believe you are. This is the deepest level of change. It is not about having something, it is about becoming someone. Of course, the path is not always smooth. You will have setbacks. You will miss a day. The key is to never miss twice. The first mistake is an accident. The second mistake is the start of a new, bad habit. You must break the chain of failure before it begins to compound against you. Be kind to yourself, but be relentless in getting back on track immediately. Perfection is not the goal. Consistency is the goal. Atomic Habits is a promise. It is a promise that you do not need to be a hero. You do not need to be a person of immense willpower. You need to be a designer. You need to be an engineer of your own environment and your own routines. By making your good habits obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying, you set yourself up for success. By making your bad habits invisible, unattractive, difficult, and unsatisfying, you set yourself up to avoid failure. The focus shifts from your goals to your system. You fall in love with the process, not the product. You learn to appreciate the slow, steady, invisible compound growth that happens in the background of your life. And one day you will look up and realize that those tiny atomic habits, those 1% improvements, have stacked up. They have compounded. And you have become the person you always wanted to be, not through a single dramatic leap, but through 1,000 small, almost imperceptible steps.